evening, Internet family. I'm Debria Love, your favorite journalist. Today I have something very wonderful for you guys. I'm here with some beautiful black intelligent souls that I brought together to have some real conversations from the black community to the black community. Welcome to The Conversation. The intention of this conversation is to think, to heal, and to talk. So let's get started. So do you guys feel that black parents unconsciously raise their children to be oppressed?
I believe that that's necessarily what the intention is behind the way that we raise our children. It's us preparing our kids unintentionally for the experience that they're gonna have. Because that's like where whippings and all that stuff came from. Like maybe back in the day, slavery time, a mother was like, I'm gonna whoop my kids so they're ready for that to happen when that time comes. Or they know that if they do something wrong, this is the repercussion. So master's gonna whoop you. I'm gonna whoop you before he whoop you, so you know what it feel like you're used to it. Maybe now you getting punished and parents are taking different approaches to the black parenting experience due to the mindset that you just explained. Like they're just trying to veer away from making you be trapped in your mind forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
From my personal experience, I feel it wasn't to raise us, to prepare us for an oppressed system. I think it was more so a failure to raise us to be free in this system. Like I think my mom just raised me how she felt was best to raise her kids, but a lot of things that I felt like would have prepared me better in my adult life were just left out because she wasn't taught. You feel me?
I would actually disagree with what y'all was saying. I would say that black parents do unintentionally raise their kids to be oppressed. I do, and I think it's something that's hard to see. It's hard to see with the naked eye, but when you hear things like "what happens in the house stays in the house," when you hear black sayings like children are meant to be seen, not heard. Like it's little things that are just natural nuances, microaggressions in the community that we just know, like that we just kind of. I don't gotta respect you. I love you. You eating, ain't you?
I think like going off that point, black parents parent from a place of fear. Yes. I think we all need to be empathetic of that. Like I think like none of us have kids right now, so like we really don't know what that fear feels like. But like even right now with like my parents and stuff, they are honestly afraid. And I think because my mom was like, whenever she was growing up in like the South and stuff, her grandparents and mothers would like literally have this phrase of like, you can't love your kids too much because God could take them. And coming from that place of like your children can literally be snatched from you at any minute. The only thing that you have control over, you don't have control over the outside world, but you have control over that child in your house. So I need that child to be able to make it to adulthood by any means necessary. Is it right? Probably not, but you're right.
Sometimes the problem that we have inside of parenting, specifically with black children, is that we decide to just take one facet of how we're going to parent our kids. I grew up inside of a household that was very much like, we want you guys to succeed, but I had no comprehension about we had no comprehension of vulnerability, emotions, and it was almost, I remember there was something that happened, I was having a discussion with my mom's, and it was like, out of nowhere, I think I had like a panic attack or something, and I just started crying, and she was just like, I don't know how to help you inside this instance, you know what I'm saying? And she was just like, you just gotta wipe it away.
I grew up in a very different home where I had my father, my mother. Their father was the head, mother was the equal, but also like the.
So you got the life. No.
I had a healthy balance. Actually.
Yes.
So I was raised in an environment because my father he grew up very different. He grew up in a very diverse upbringing, and so did my mother. So they brought that into the household, and then they taught us that even though we are what we are as black people, we still have the ability to be vulnerable. We can cry. Like we had the space to do that. Our parents were there for us. Like, how are you?
I want to ask you, both your parents light skin?
No, my father is a very chocolate man, and my mom's light skin. So it was a good balance. We were aware of okay, yeah, you may have a privilege of being light skinned, and then you also do have the privilege of being dark skinned sometimes, being accepted more in the black community.
You guys individually been affected by colorism from your own people, from your own black people?
So I grew up in a house full of women, and I have an older sister who is darker, and me and my younger sister, we are like pretty much the same skin color, and we all got different nicknames. Like as children, my big sister's nickname was Blackie, my nickname was Sassy, and my little sister's nickname was Baldhead. And yeah, like we were all kids, even though like we had hair. It was kind of weird. But yeah, like I even noticed like it was a lot of different energies like given to us as children, and I think that affected our relationships growing up. Like in our teen years, like all of us fought. Like we fire signs were all like aggressive and passionate about how we feel, so we all fought, and like there were like a lot of underlying feelings like coming from childhood. Like I've always been a dancer, I've always been a performer, and like I've always like had the center of attention. Like I don't know if that was because I'm like the lighter sister or if that's just who I was. Like I don't know, but like it was a lot of conflict and friction like in our like outside, like even like how like I'm kind of like a socialite, like my sisters are shyer, like it's kind of that's kind of how it is.
So is shyness like a darker skinned girl trait? Because I had a friend tell me, you act like a light skinned woman. I said, what you mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? I guess the way, you know, the confidence. Like as like a brown skinned, darker skinned woman, we don't have they don't expect us to walk in like Beyonce.
I think
they expect us to be Kelly or Michelle.
I think about dark skinned women being shy. I think that comes because you can see me. I'm like 5'1", maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. But I've been told by numerous white people that I am intimidating.
Yeah.
And I've been told if I had $1 for every time I've been called intimidating.
Before you said a word. Before you even open your mouth.
Yes. And that's it. I don't talk, but people will come up to me and say that I'm intimidating. So I think that we have to kind of like subdue and demean ourselves so that like we don't get seen as like a target. So I think
society has done that. They've stepped down the black woman entirely, and it's sad to see.
And I can speak on it from a beauty standpoint. I feel like, and not even beauty, just in the performing arts. As a black woman, you know, I've been told don't do too much. You don't want to outshine. You don't want to be the one that's doing too much in public. You don't want to be the one that's getting a lot of attention. You don't want to be the one that seems like you're trying to ask for attention or trying to overstep your fellow people around you. So like, don't do this. Don't do all that. Don't do all that. And then I will see other fair women, lighter skinned women who are able to like kind of just like, they're walking around flinging their hair, don't have something that's okay for them. But if I get up and do it now, I'm doing too much. You know what I mean? And that was one of the things that I had to break through as a black woman, from going from a girl to a black woman. Like, I'm naturally very vivacious. I'm naturally not shy. I'm naturally very bold. And yet all my life I was told to kind of suppress my attitude, suppress who I am. And then I was wondering why I was depressed. My sophomore, junior year of college, wanted to kill myself. Like, literally. And people look at me now and be like, what? You want? Yeah, because like every single time I wanted to be myself, somebody would make me feel weird about it, or somebody would tell me to stop, you doing too much, like literally. And so it's almost like you don't want to do anything to get the attention of anybody. Honestly, black men, white men, other black women. Anybody that can just see me is gonna have something to say about it. So I'm gonna just shut up so nobody can say anything to me.
And I think that stems from the family as well. I'll go back to the nicknames. Like I said, like if there was Blackie, there was Sassy, and there was Baldhead. There was no like positivity in that. Like it was bad for me to be sassy. It was bad. Like I talked too much. Like I rolled my neck too much. Like, and I've always been this way. And even like the same thing you're saying, like when I like walk into my adult life and I'm like trying to find my place now, it's like you have to unlearn all of those things that were like fed to you, especially in your childhood. And like the system that you grew up around. That's all. Yeah.
So that happened in society and that happened inside your family too.
Yeah.
Like, so I have a similar experience as you, being a light-skinned man, having to dampen down your masculinity and like make it seem like you aren't that, because there's this Joe Budden sort of caricature, that beige rage, those masculine, those light skinned guys, you know, that are just mad all the time, you know, that are just, you know, trying to compensate for their lighter skin. So you honestly, you don't want to be that guy. So a lot of times you're just kind of just laying back, just observing. You get included in some of the things that black people do, but when you act as if you are, let's say, how a dark-skinned man is portrayed, it's viewed 10 times differently than it is an actual. Yeah, you're trying too hard. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You're a dark skinned man. You're both dark skin, brown skin. What's y'all take on that? You guys viewed as the rough riders.
I can speak on it. You really don't have time to be sad or get emotional about type of stuff because it's like, you got to be there for not only yourself and your family, but also I have 2 brothers. I have a twin brother and I have a little brother too, and it's like my dad's like saying you being a nigga at the end of the day is just like I can't afford for you to feel weak inside of this. So I don't think he raised us to be angry. He just raised me to be like, you gotta walking with a chip on your shoulder about a lot of stuff. So I mean, I didn't get to tap in emotionally, until school, and I got to go away and kind of understand myself a little bit more. But I don't take that away that he kind of raised me to you gotta walk in, they gotta notice you first, and they gotta notice you for the best traits.
Yeah.
So,
Eliana, I hate to put you on the spot, but as a light-skinned woman, did you feel accepted or included with your darker-skinned sisters? Can you explain that?
Actually, growing up, I felt more at home with the Hispanic population, the Hispanic women, because I had a similar complexion, and then I grew up speaking different languages, so that's where I found my home. But I always wanted to be dark chocolate because I'm dead serious. I always did because I think it's just so beautiful. Something about a dark skinned woman, it's just so rare. I always wanted it, and then I also wanted to be friends with all the dark skinned girls, even medium chocolate. But I had to actually do where dark skinned women have to be shy in communities. I felt like I had to do that to fit in with the black community, specifically black women, because I would get a lot of attention from the black male population, and then it was a stem of jealousy, and then all other types of things.
I want to tap on that for my dark skinned sisters. Is there a secret when you see a light skinned woman? Is it the secret she light skinned? What is that? Let's talk into that.
A lot of people ain't gonna be transparent. I be transparent.
Yeah.
When I'm around light skinned women, I automatically get pissed because all the niggas gonna like her. All the niggas gonna be looking at her. All the niggas gonna be saying, period. And no matter how, I could come in there with a 30-inch wig. I can come in there with a 30-inch wig, makeup, beat, outfit to the gods. Light skin shorty next to me with her hair out, with a little frizz, little curl, nice little green eyes, and niggas is just flocking. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? I just spent 3 hours on my motherfucking hair, and y'all only see her.
What I was saying to Kenise earlier, I don't feel some type of way towards light-skinned women. If I do feel some type of way when a group of beautiful light-skinned women come around, it will be towards the men. It wouldn't be towards the women. We all beautiful. Of course it's gonna be celebrated.
I mean, in the idealistic world, yeah, but in practicality, the way it really runs out, and most times, like I said, it happens when you just never know what someone's going through. It happens when I took 3 hours to get ready. I just need to be a little bit of a pick-me-up, and I'm literally getting no attention. And my light-skinned homegirl. No, I know that, but we're just saying in general, after days, after weeks, and weeks and years, I'm 25. You know what I'm saying? And then when people understand, I don't know why dark-skinned girls don't like light skins, or I don't know why it's an issue. Okay, because in real time we get treated differently.
Yeah.
And after years and years and years of certain things happen to you, it does build up resentment, and that's why this conversation is good. Because I feel like in the black community, we don't even talk about it.
Light skinned women are treasured over dark skinned women, but for men, it's the opposite.
It is quite the opposite. And I have the same sort of feeling of I don't want to say it's not necessarily resentment, because I love my brothers. It is not, I'm not the type. It's the game. It's a game. Right. It's pretty much you win some, you lose some, but over time it's the same instance. You can go and you can be that masculine, ambitious man, that ideal man that women claim to want, but have light skin. And that'll be the catch-22. They won't even notice you. They'll look right over you. There's certain instances where you're in situations where I guess testosterone is flying, and the women will immediately look to the dark-skinned men for protection as opposed to the light-skinned men. And I feel like that's where the discrepancy exchanges or whatever, and especially with yours, I feel like the case that you were making is more because light-skinned women are portrayed as more feminine, and that is something that is super attractive to men. You know, because especially in a time like this where femininity is being rebranded and changed, like the one who expresses that sort of regular idea, that standard idea of femininity, is more sought after by men. It's not a real thing.
I am personally more attracted to darker men, and that.
But
may-
that
But
also
if a
goes-
light-skinned man said that, how would you feel if a man said, "Hey, I'm attracted to
I'm not gonna be
lighter
mad.
skin"?
I was
Brown
just- I was
says
just-
it.
I was
Chris
just-
Brown do it all the time.
But his
I was just
talks
about to
already.
say that
But y'all
because
also didn't let me
honestly,
finish my statement.
Yeah.
say that.
What I was gonna say is that may have something to do with my desire for my fatherly love. My father is a darker man, like so that might be a reason why I'm more attracted to dark men, because I want that void filled.
That's
So what
basically
you was gonna
exactly
say.
what I was gonna say is that a lot of dark skinned men, compared to myself, are sought after because of like the imagery behind it. Mandingo, yada yada, all these other things. I mean, you
I like
just
the
gotta think
contrast
about
between
it.
the teeth and on the skin.
Yeah,
and the
bone
skin.
structure, but they don't look so deep as to that. It usually just stops at the daddy issues a lot of times. It's like, my daddy's light skinned, so I don't want nobody that's light skinned, I want dark skinned. My daddy's dark skinned and he's very overbearing, he's a helicopter parent, so I don't want a person that's like that. I'm gonna give me a light skinned nigga with a tattoo on his face type shit and just keep that moving.
Like, I had a light skinned daddy. My brother was light skinned. I dad thought for most of my life that my dad did not believe me because I was dark skinned. And I remember that for the first time when I was 12. And his wife was light skinned and his kids was light skinned. So how am I supposed to now understand that? At 12 years old, I'm supposed to just think that it's about personality, that it's about money. No, nigga, the one like I'm like, you see what I'm trying to say? You see what I'm trying to say? And it's like a lot of us were not loved by our fathers because we may not have come out the way. And niggas don't want to really talk about that.
Right.
How I don't love my child because they don't look the way I want them to look. They're not as beautiful in society's eyes as I want them to be.
Or is privileged.
Do you feel like now the way the world is going, we're being more accepting and embracing the dark skin and embracing the light skin as well, and embracing like
It's
just
bandwagon.
being black?
It
It
is
is
very
bandwagon.
It's all bandwagon because I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. With the dark skin thing, like, at least being a dark skinned woman, I'll be honest, like, I think at the beginning of 2020, or it might have been 2019, I have no idea, these years have flown together. But whenever you could kind of see a change in the media of this new focus and this newfound love for dark skinned women, I'll be honest, for me, it scared the crap out of me, because it's like it's turning into, it felt like a fetish. It really feels like a fetish.
But that's always how it's
That's a lot
been
of
for
expectation.
dark skinned men. I can honestly say that
Yeah,
because it could be a chocolate baby and like, ooh, that baby just so, ooh, he gonna grow up da 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 this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And then it comes out that he's like skinny mitty and you know not what you think, but they still just like that dark skin. We can have such dark skin equals beautiful skin in their eyes, as well as light skin making beautiful skin. So it just all goes off of, I think it comes from your daddy issue.
And to kind of keep on to your point, I grew up and I'm light skinned, right? You can clearly see I'm like a white man in the
If that
world.
makes sense.
But my brother is your color. You met my brother. So,
yeah.
I saw how differently we were treated. We had the same teachers. He would get in trouble. We had the same, authority figures. He would get in trouble. We had the same, talk to the same girls. They would think that he was tougher. They would, you know what I'm saying? So it's some give and some take as far as like, at least on the manosphere, you know what I'm saying? Just for men.
You're not
like,
that much of a threat.
Yeah, you're not as much of a threat. But also in white spaces, not being a threat is a good thing.
I was about to say that because the worst place for anybody that's black, I'll speak on dark skinned men, is the workplace. That's the worst place for
a woman
because
too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking for everybody, but I can only speak from my experience
Yeah.
because I've lost jobs from not doing nothing, but it's seeming like I'm doing so much. Like if you give me an instruction, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be quiet, and it's gonna keep going. A lot of times they're looking for that rebuttal. They're looking for that little lashback because they're telling you what to do, this, that, and the third. And then once that conversation comes up to, do you have any questions or anything like that? If you don't have any questions, it's looked at as, narcissism, or you think that you're better than us and things like that. So we're going to knock you down. We're going to be on you every time you come into work. We're going to make sure I've had jobs track me and count how long it took me to get from the garage to my post, because in that time I was late. If I got to be at work at 7:30, I get to work at 7:15. That 15-minute break in between me getting from my car to my post, I was considered late, and I got fired for that.
I used to work at Houston's restaurant, and I have no shame in my motherfucking game. They literally, like, I would run laps around those other girls in there, and I would come and be 5 minutes late, and homegirl will come 30 minutes late, and I'm getting written up, and she's not.
Yep.
I cut my hair. I went from having a perm, and I transitioned because my hair was falling off. It was breaking off with a kissing bee, and I cut my hair. They dad fired me and told me that I was no longer a fit for the company.
Wow, Houston.
Literally. And it's like, it's crazy because you just shut up. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do about it. It's not like I can sue them. It's not like I can do anything, right? Just going back to that thing, it builds a resentment. So when we talk about colorism in the community, it's like, you know, I have a homegirl who started working with me there who's a light-skinned woman. And she knows it's unfair. And it builds a resentment because now I'm looking at you. You got a job, sis. You straight. I'm not. And everybody just shut up about it. And nobody's saying shit. And you know that it's some fuck shit. Everyone know that it's some fuck shit. But it's okay. I mean, what are we going to do? And so I always think the colorism talk is so great because not only do we need to talk about colorism, but we need to talk about solutions.
How to heal it.
That's exactly where I was about to go.
You must first acknowledge your privilege, and that's what I'm big on you about. Like, you must first acknowledge your privilege, and once you acknowledge your privilege, then you can use your privilege to help those that are less privileged than you. Right, and that's why I'm so surprised. Well, last woman tell me I didn't know that colorism existed. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Oh no,
you
no,
know
pause. I didn't say that.
Like,
yeah, I was gonna say I didn't say that. But just in general, when white women, light skinned women are, the combo was such a taboo thing, and I get pissed off. Like, yo, like. What do you mean?
And that's why so much when I go into these white spaces, I speak on racism immediately. As soon as I can, like I try, because I know if my dark skinned counterparts do, they'll be seen as aggressive, as overbearing, and coming. But me, I come in there and I hit them with it. I have a general command of the English language that is so eloquent you can't ever understand. And then I have this light skin, so then you're sitting there, you're looking at me, well, this guy looks like me, and I think he might have a point. Maybe he's on to something, and I've trained real neo-Nazis, like people who genuinely believed black people were lesser than, to actually being Black Lives Matter protesters. I have the DMs to prove it.
Real love, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation, but don't let it stop here. Continue it at your dinner table.
Part 2 comes soon.
We got to continue.